Good evening, folks. Welcome to the Rangers Reviews post-match briefing after tonight's 2-2 draw with Hearts here at Ibrox. It was the Rangers send-off for Alan McGregor, Alfredo Morelos, Ryan Kent, Scott Arfield and Phil Hollander as well. That kind of was, I guess, the dominant thing from tonight's game. On the pitch, there was a lot of action. It was quite a dramatic game, which included Alfredo Morelos kind of going out in style with what I thought was actually a pretty good performance from him overall, and also some antics with the Hearts bench towards the end of the first half. And a game that Rangers should have won. Obviously, it doesn't really matter at this stage, given that they're already over, but they conceded what was a sloppy goal at the start and then defended poorly for a goal in extra time to ensure that Hearts left with a point. But I think that the predominant storyline from today's game is, of course, the fact of those players leaving. It was their final day at Ibrox, and we'll start with that. I mean, throughout the game, it was Morelos who got the first banner unveiled by the Union Bears, which read something along the lines of "From the heart of Colombia to the heart of our support. Thank you, Alfredo." He was the one that was serenaded first with songs. Scott Arfield had a banner in the second half. He came on from the bench. Obviously, Helander and Kent both injured, so not in the squad. Alan McGregor as well he'll obviously have his testimonial here in July. But was rightly praised by the Rangers support. And it was interesting there in Michael Beale's post-match press conference. He was keen to, I guess, thank the support for the fact that although it's been what he called a really disappointing season, a trophyless season, to still get that reaction and for the players and to have that send-off clearly meant a lot. It's a very emotional night inside Ibrox. Kind of felt like with a couple of players in particular, I think especially Alfredo Morelos, it felt like this day was never going to come. You know, he's been here for 6 years, and I think for Rangers supporters probably of a certain generation, he was the first real hero. At his best, he was so good, and at times we didn't see that enough. Definitely, I think you see tonight the effort and application that he put in. That's not been there consistent throughout the season. You know, he's been called out publicly by all three of his last managers, but I think for all the criticisms and the could what have beens, there was so many highs as well for Morelos throughout his time. Even just here alone at Ibrox, you think of those European goals. The one that always sticks in my mind is that left-footed volley against Porto. You think of the games away at Feyenoord, how good he was in the 55 season, the European run last year when he performed so well away at Borussia Dortmund and at home, and then Red Star as well. I think he's given so much, and it's always hard to know when the right time is to end something, because it's either too soon or it's too late. And you know, we've spent a long time in the channel talking about why Rangers are in the position they are in, and why now so much work is needed to get back to the top of the mountain. But I thought fitting farewell for him tonight. He didn't get his goal. It looked like he was gonna. He had a number of opportunities in the second half, after kind of helping set up Cantwell in the first half, but ultimately he got his standing ovation, and rightly so, 10 minutes before the end of Alfredo Morelos' story with Rangers. Ryan Kent wasn't in the matchday squad, but similarly, I think a player that we'll look back on with a lot of fond moments, a similar amount of what-ifs, but a player that alongside McGregor and Arfield and Helander provided so much to get Rangers to a certain stage, and now just is the right time as well to say goodbye. But speaking of new beginnings, Kieran Dowell was confirmed by the club before the game. Michael Beale very excited about that signing, speaking about him in his post-match press conference, saying that Rangers haven't had a left footer in that midfield since Joe Rebo left, and kind of reiterating the importance of that, as well as saying that he's known him since his academy days when Beale was at Liverpool and Dowell was across the city, or just across the park as it is in Liverpool, at Everton. That signing, as mentioned, was confirmed by the club before the match, and Dowell, who played with Todd Cantwell at Norwich, will hope he can have a similar impact to Cantwell, because Cantwell, I thought, again, was just brilliant in moments. Not his best game overall, but the quality of his finish for the first goal, I think that's the type of thing that changes matches. Obviously, he starts the move, he chips the ball into Morelos' run, and then finishes with a left-footed shot when it looked like the angle was really narrowing for him, and managed to get Rangers level. 2-1 up. Should have had more goals. Matondo had an opportunity should have played Morelos and better at one stage. There was a number of balls flashed across the box. Scott Arfield had a chance after a Morelos shot, but ultimately it wasn't to be. And as mentioned, Hearts got that late equaliser. Let's get through some of the comments. Colin Cameron here saying that tonight's game was a reflection of the season and the need for change is clear. Our newest players were our best performers. Again, roll on next season. Yeah, it was, who was it? Nico Raskin that got man of the match, and I thought he was pretty good at the base of midfield. But Todd Campbell, I think, has been the player who's really kind of stolen hearts and minds so far at Ibrox, and understandably so. Really exciting to see what he can obviously do over the course of a full season with a kind of better functioning team around him. I think what is probably important to reiterate, and it's something that Beale said again post-match, box to box, I don't think Rangers have huge issues. It's not that they can't get into the final third. It's not that they can't build up. It's that these mistakes at the back and the mistakes at one end and then the lack of kind of clinical edge at the other has been the story of the season. And the job this summer is to recruit players who can help appease that issue. John Gemmell saying Arfield will be a miss. I would have given him another 1-year contract. Yeah. Interesting, Stevie Clifford writing in his column, which is going out tomorrow, kind of said that maybe if Arfield hadn't run out of contract when there's so much sea change happening, then he would have perhaps been offered another deal. But he's had equally a fantastic, 4 years or 5 years, can't remember off the top of my head, at the club, a fantastic servant, and was given a really, really good reception as he walked around the pitch at the end of the game. Jason there saying, sad to see these guys go. Morelos' European goal record won't be beaten in the next 20 to 30 years. Yeah, of course, Alfredo Morelos leaves as Rangers' European top goal scorer, and what an impact he made, especially on the continent, where it just seemed to bring out the best of him. And for a period of time, especially in the Europa League, he did feel absolutely unstoppable. Obviously, the top scorer in that 2019-20 season to a point. Thomas saying, we need characters to replace the big characters leaving. Yeah, obviously, you look at Arfield, but McGregor as well, a number of important people leaving in that dressing room, and it's up to Beale. And again, as he mentioned post-match, the Rangers aren't only going to be signing youth products next season, they are as well going to be bringing in players with a bit more experience, which is important given the demands that they will face at Ibrox. Thomas as well saying, great send-off from the fans, first class as always. And Mark saying, Cantwell, something else, basically our light for next season. Yeah, I mean, he's been such a bright spot, Mark, since he came to the club, hasn't he? Taken to it so quickly, and it not only shows the benefit of getting a player in January, because I guess, how good they are, and you can build around them, and they're fully up to speed for the summer and the Champions League qualifiers and all the important games that will come at the start of next season. And I think you've seen with a player of Cantwell's quality, comfortably he's already Rangers' best player. If you look at the squad that was available tonight, and he certainly is becoming the kind of leader and the main character in this Rangers team, and he's absolutely reveling in it, I think you would have to say. And just a couple more. John saying, I thought Morelos done okay. I thought he had a pretty good game also, John. Quite active off the ball. It's the most I've seen him kind of do off the ball in a while, I must say. But it just reminds you how good he could be, not only tonight, because he wasn't brilliant, but he was quite effective. There was that moment where the defender Kai Rolls picked up the booking because Morelos just pinned him and turned him and rolled him. At his best, he was so good. And obviously it's time for new protagonists and main characters at Ibrox, and that's where people like Todd Cantwell come in. But certainly tonight was, I think, a time, even though it's been a trophyless season, still a time to pay respect to those players who have given so much to the club over a number of years. But we're going to be live tomorrow morning at 9:30. It'll be Stevie and Derek, and hopefully myself as well. If not on Friday, we'll be talking about the game in greater detail, looking back at some of those legacies and looking ahead to what is the final game of a long season against St Mirren at the weekend. Until then, thanks for watching this brief post-match video. Remember, you can watch the full press conference on our YouTube just now. Subscribe to the website. Tomorrow's the last chance to get a whole year for £12, our best ever offer. Do take us up on that. The link is on the ticker below. The last chance ends tomorrow at midnight. Get a whole year of the Rangers review for just £12. And until tomorrow morning, we will speak to you then.